This is a VR to Simon at Hermit's Cave. These are my 10 tarot decks that are never leaving my collection, the tarot decks for life. I've got indie, I've got mass market, and I've got vintage. And all these decks are either decks that were there for me at a special or a difficult time in my life, or I adore the art, or they would be hard to replace, frankly. Let's get started. The first deck is the Dreaming Way. This is a workhorse deck for me. I reach for it all the time. Since I got it, it's hardly gone a week without being on my table. I love the art. There are just a couple interpretations that are maybe I have a little bit of an issue with, but it's mostly just RWS. So if you read RWS, you could read this right out of the box. And the art is just really, really beautiful. This is US Games, so just their regular cardstock, so easy to riffle shuffle, which I like. Standard size, which I like. This deck is also kind of a crowd favorite. Whenever I show it online, people ask about it. So I know it's kind of the art is appreciated by a lot of people. Oh, and here's an example of a strength card I really like. I really don't like the strength cards where the lion or the animal is being forced. I do prefer this more companionable version of the strength card. But I really like all the cups are really cool with the black and white. The shoes in this deck are really amazing. The fashion overall is just fantastic. I'd wear pretty much all of this stuff. So this has just been a favorite since I got it, and I have, really not put it down. Again, that's the Dreaming Way. This is the Balbi Tarot. I got this one because it was made in the decade I was born, and it is a Spanish deck. And I did a study abroad in Spain, which really changed my life. I met my husband there, and I became a Spanish teacher because of that study abroad. So having a Spanish deck that was created in the decade I was born, very near to the year I was born. This is the 1978 version. I really love this deck. I need to look more into this system. This is a Eudes Picard deck and need to learn more about that. But as is, even though I don't know anything about it really, I still find it easy to read with. I'm a big fan of the art. I love the colors. I love the size of the deck. This deck, besides being just kind of special to me for those reasons, I was able to get one that the cards were still sealed. I think I would have a hard time finding that again. They're expensive to replace, so many reasons why this one is never leaving my collection. I do love reading with it, and I think just being a deck that would be harder to replace would be, a big reason. I didn't put all of my vintage decks here. I've got 3 now, but this one is just special because it's got that sort of sentimental value to me as well. But this is just a super duper cool deck. And I would recommend, if you want to look for this deck, get online. There are many versions. There's a 1976 version, a 1978 version. There was also a version that was printed in Argentina in the 1990s, and that one has a different box. That one's got like a purpley tuck box, I think. But people online try to sell that 1990s version at 1970s prices. So do a little research before you grab this deck, the Tarot Balbi. My next deck, never leaving my collection, is the Naibi de Giovanni Vecchetta. This is the Il Meneghello edition, and it's my only Il Meneghello deck, and I adore it. I'm not a huge collector of historical decks, but I really love them. And this one is just so cool. I love the ribbons. I love how the pips have these little illustrations in them. And this is a gorgeous coloration of it. The cardstock from Il Meneghello is just unbelievable. I like the size of the cards. It's another deck that I'd like to learn a lot more about, and I found a video that was a beautiful deep dive. I can't remember the channel. I will put it in the description though. So if you have the Vecchetta, highly recommend watching that video. I'll put it in the description so you can go find it. Because there's so much in this deck, and it's just so beautiful and really a historical deck of importance. So because it's an Il Meneghello, it's also a little spendy, so harder to replace in my collection, but that's not the only reason it's in this video. I really love it. I think it's just gorgeous, and I love reading with it. Again, that is I Naibi di Giovanni Vecchetta from Il Meneghello. This is another workhorse deck for me. I use this deck constantly, and I would have to say this is like top 2 favorites. This is not a hard deck to get, so it would be easy to replace if I had to, but I'm telling you, I will never get rid of it. I love it so much. This is the Fifth Spirit Tarot. I actually avoided getting this deck for a long time, and it was partly because of the pips. I saw so many people online talking about how, you know, it's not really illustrated pips, and so probably not for beginners, and I don't agree at all. I could understand maybe not getting this for your first deck, but the pips are a work of genius. They still tell a story. They give you a lot to work with, and I just adore them. Let me get you to another pip here. But I also really love like that the kings and the queens, the courts and the majors, actually, I should just say, they play with gender. They are representative of the world I live in, with body size, ethnic, racial, age, ability. Like it's just such a good representation of the world. I will say that. And I really appreciate that. So here's another of the pips. Really beautiful. We've got the swords crossed. We've got an eye closed. We've got different sort of phases of the moon happening. I think that these pips give you so much to work with. And I felt intimidated by them at first, but I don't think we should be. The other thing I really love in the majors, Charlie Claire Burgess, the creator, they both wrote the book and did the art. They have hidden elemental symbols in the majors so that you can see the element. Let me see if I can find another one. Let's get through a couple pips here. Here's the Empress, and you can see the tattoo on the Empress's thumb is an elemental symbol. And it has a lot of the symbols you've probably seen that you would recognize from the RWS, like the star crown, the wheat, the pomegranate, right? So many things to work off. Oh, I love this Eight of Pentacles. Instead of showing a person sitting at a bench, it's their tools. Really, truly gorgeous work of art. And I'm really, really glad I own it. I use it all the time. It's great for reading for clients and friends. And I get a lot of good messages and interpretations from it. Excellent deck. That is the Fifth Spirit Tarot. This is Earth Magic, the colored edition. And before I go through this, I do want to say that there is some discussion about whether this deck is AI. This is made by an artist who has used AI, but is also a longtime artist. And I have been finding conflicting information online. And so I just, for people who are worried about that, I had not even considered it when I bought the deck. And only since I published my my collection video did I even learn that there's some discussion about whether this is AI. So just want to put that out there. I adore the art on this deck, and it makes me think twice, 3 times, 4 times about each card and gives me such new ways to interpret them. And I have reached for it so much since I bought it. I actually have also the sort of classic, the sepia toned version of it, but I have to say I prefer the colored version in readings. It's the same art, but there is just something about the colors, about the kind of odd interpretations, both like the fantastical but also somehow sci-fi version of the interpretation. I really should get the guidebook. I didn't get it, and I've heard that it's really helpful in understanding the art. But I also find that just interpreting the art on my own gives me so much to work with, so much to think about. This is a truly beautiful deck. I love it. The discussion around AI has sort of dampened my experience with it, but I do think that this is a deck that I wouldn't get rid of. Even though maybe I feel a little differently about it now, I still wouldn't get rid of it. I've already bought it. I've had great readings from it, and I'm not going to get rid of it, even if I find out it is AI. I think I would keep it. I just wouldn't, show it very much. I do really enjoy working with this deck, and I think it's really, really beautiful. Again, that is Earth Magic, the color edition. Another of my workhorse decks. This deck, the Pulp Tarot, has been my #1 most used deck last year and the year before. I keep a spreadsheet, and so I know how many times I use my cards, and this is my #1. I reach for it constantly. People love when I read for them with this deck. People are really drawn to the art. I also find that the art provides me a lot to work with. I get a lot of good messages from it. And I just know it really well at this point, I think, just because I've used it so many times. But really a gorgeous deck. And this is an indie deck, but it's really at a mass market price. I've been thinking I need to get a backup of it just because I use it so much. But it won't break the bank. Make sure you are getting it from the actual artist instead of getting a counterfeit. We want to support our indie artists. And this deck is just wonderful to work with. I remember seeing it at a local metaphysical shop, and I was super drawn to it, but I kept thinking, like, is it just a gimmick? Like, will it read well? And so I put off getting it for a couple weeks, but I couldn't stop thinking about it. And I can tell you, it's not a gimmick. It is so smartly done, so clever. And it's really wonderful to read with. It gives great readings. And again, that is the Pulp Tarot. Another deck never leaving my collection, and not because it's a workhorse. I don't actually use this deck very much, but I love it. And that is Dark Days Tarot. Now, as of recording this, I did not check to see if the creator is sold out, but they are not going to be printing anymore. So if you have loved this deck, go check them out and get your hands on it. They're not going to be printing anymore. So once they sell their stock, they're done. So it may be out of print. I just pulled out a selection of cards because there actually is a considerable amount of nudity in this deck. So we have to be a little careful about what I can show. But this deck will never leave my collection because of the readings I've had with it. It has absolutely opened my mind. It has shifted my life. It has been there in readings that have truly, truly changed me. And so even though I don't read with it very much, I could never get rid of this deck. It means too much to me. I've really only read for myself with it. I'm not sure I've maybe just a couple times read for other people. This deck is, it's just been amazing for me with self-reflection, life changes, grief. It's brought me through some really dark times, and it's moved me forward when I was stuck. And it's a gorgeous deck. It's got a nice guidebook. If you've watched my other collection videos, you'll know I'm not in love with square decks, and that might be why I don't reach for it. But I also feel like for me, this deck is just there for the depths of life. And so I don't usually pull it out for like daily draws, because when I use this deck, I want to sit with it for a long time. It's an absolutely gorgeous deck. It means so much to me. I would never get rid of it. Even if I'm not using it much, I would never get rid of it. And then of course, because it's going out of print, I couldn't replace it. And so because of my history with it, and because of that, would never get rid of it. Just an absolutely tremendous deck. And again, that is Dark Days. Another deck that has gotten me through some really difficult times is Tarot of Oneness. This is a unique deck. It is from a first-person point of view, and I don't see a lot of decks like that. I think there's more now, but I have used this deck for self-love. I have only used it for myself. I used it for one person one time, and it just felt so wrong to use it for somebody else that I decided I wasn't going to do that ever again. So I use this mostly for self-love, like I said, and I do a weekly self-love ritual, which includes a tarot reading, and this is often the deck I use for that weekly reading. It has gotten me through dealing with my issues around people-pleasing. It has gotten me through issues with self-worth. It has helped me be more bold. It has helped me be more vulnerable. It's a really, really beautiful deck. This is another one where there's lots of counterfeits out there, so please make sure you're getting it from the creator's shop. I will link that below so it's easy to find. But one of my favorites, and again, because of sentimental reasons and because of how I have worked with this deck and essentially what it has done for me, I will never get rid of it. Again, that is Tarot of Oneness. This is Tarot de Carlotides. This is a mass market deck. It's still in print and easy to get, so I could replace it if I needed to, but I would never get rid of it because I like it too much. The art is so wonderful, and the size of the cards works for me. The shuffle is amazing. I think this deck is really very, very special. I've used it for daily draws. I've used it for deeper readings. I use it with other people. People really seem to like it as much as I do. And I just think it's a really versatile deck. It's got, as you can see, it's like storybook type things. There's some pop culture references in it. There's some fairy tale references in it. And so I feel like it sort of transports me to another world. I really enjoy the art and the colors. It's just a really, really, truly very special deck. And that, again, is Tarot de Carlotides. This is Kai Tarot Love. This is also an indie deck, and one that I don't actually read very much with, but I would never get rid of it. I feel so bonded to this deck. I use this deck for daily draws. I use it for very deep readings. I use it for self-love. I've used it for grief. I really like how abstract the art is, how honestly kind of weird the court cards are. The art is really gorgeous, lots of nature in it, which I like. I find the art to create feelings in me more than thoughts. I mean, the thoughts do come eventually, but these cards make me feel something instead of think something. And I really, really like that about this deck. It's, as far as I know, still available. It's made by an artist who is local to me, so that feels very special. And I find these interpretations to really just sort of open my mind and make me think new things about the cards, which I always appreciate that in a deck. And I feel incredibly bonded to this deck, and I would just never give it away. I do read for other people with it, even though the readings do feel, to me, kind of intimate for me. I only have that one deck that I don't read for other people with. I have read for other people with this one, but I think more often I just read for myself with it. And I just love it. It's a beautiful, beautiful deck. Again, that is Kai Tarot Love. And that's it. These are the 10 tarot decks never leaving my collection. Like this video if you liked it, subscribe for more tarot content, and thanks for stopping by.